Welcome everybody to this month's episode of Acoustic Guitar Builders Club. We are joined by Wolfgang from none other than Tormek, and as you know, you can see from the tool he has right there, and then many others that hopefully he'll show us today. And we all know what a pain it is to work with dull tools, and we all work with plenty of knives and chisels and all sorts of sharp implements. And I thought it would be great to go to the source, to one of the, I guess, longer standing sharpening systems out there, and have a chance to talk with them about their system and what it can do for us, and have a little demo. And then, as I was telling Wolfgang, right now we in the Luth group are a bunch of tinkerers, and so I'm sure that somebody might already have come up with something that can be used with their machine, or will come up with something that will use with their machine, as it often happens. And so just to be on the lookout, because you might hear from us again. And so, yeah, well, if you want to introduce yourself briefly, Wolfgang, what were you in Tormek, a bit about the company, and then we can go on with what you guys do.
Absolutely. So welcome everybody out there. And as we say, you see here, this side. Stay sharp.
Yeah, I can add that.
This is a little bit fun also. And yeah, I'm Wolfgang, original from Stuttgart. So you hear me maybe also a little bit, it's not perfect English, a little bit in German English, but living since about 20 years now or 22 years in Sweden. 2004, I moved here, and working with Tormek since 2013. And I'm responsible for Central and South Europe. That means Germany, Switzerland, Italy, and then eastwards to Greece, Italy, also the Balkans, and Czech Republic and all that part down to Greece and Turkey, Israel. This is where my markets are, and we work in that way that we have importers in the countries, and I have only one contact, and I'm always on fairs, which are important. For example, when you have the violin builders, usually I'm at Cremona Tools. Maybe some of you know it, Alessandro. Yep. There, stay in his shop. Not the last 2 years, because we had no importer. He finished. Now the business is done through Italy, and not Italy, sorry, from Austria. We have next week, I'm in Italy actually, in Bolzano. There was the idea maybe just take away over to you, but I'm a little bit busy on the way back to Austria, so I had to skip it, because it's closer from Bolzano to you than from here to you.
Definitely.
So and I'm also involved in product development, service questions, and then, as you know, on YouTube we have our channel Tormek Sharpening Innovation is the English channel. For German speaking is Tormek space and then DE, or for Swedish SV, and in France FR. So we have all the 4 languages we drive in the channels. And that's what I do. And filming and the fairs around in Europe, you will see me there. So in the company, they called me the sharpening doctor, because every difficult thing ends up on my desk, and do you have an idea? Or that's why. So therefore, also I'm a little bit in product development and
cool.
Make things better for you and easier. Sometimes we want to make more, but we have always a little bit the economy behind us. Every jig, the tool, and everything costs a lot of money. Is it a very special thing? Can we maybe print it? A small adapter or so. There are new ideas coming there too. And small series, because sometimes they're very niched, not in a broader market.
Mm-hmm.
Will be too expensive at the end. So we have to go a little bit that way also. Payable and a solution.
I think that would be actually a great thing to explore, like with the the massive expansion and availability of 3D printers, where you have like a product that's not, it's so niche that's not worth developing and producing on a mass scale, but coming up with a design, and then if you really want it, you can kind of like print it yourself, kind of thing. That could open up very special use tools and very special little jigs that might not ever see the light of day otherwise.
Absolutely. I've done it, for example, now 1.5 years ago from Kenya, from a cashew nut farm. It's driven by a Swiss guy, but they had the problem for the blades to sharpen it quite hard and little and double-sided, and it's like just the size of a stamp, or maybe 1.5 size of a stamp, but short side and then rounded, and both sides to make it easy to replicate it. It took me maybe an hour, and with our technician, just we draw 3D and printed it, tried it, and it worked. So with an existing jig, just as an adapter to that jig.
Just like a little attachment.
Yeah. It's, for example, I can take out here a jig, which I think is well known to you. I go here, the SVD-186. This is what we also use for the cashew thing, but already prepared. If you use or here, maybe spoon-shaped gouges or V-shaped gouges or straight ones. Just as normal gouges or V-shaped, because when it's spoon-shaped like this, then you need anyway that tool, because you have to compensate the curve here in that angle.
Yeah.
For example, this little screw here, a lot of don't know for what to use it, because normally it's for a wood turner, gouges. But this little screw makes, for example, easy to sharpen V-shaped gouges. They're normally quite difficult because you have to, this way, up here, yeah. It should be straight, not falling back to the middle or the flanks. And mostly that's a big issue. And when you clamp it, for example, you're just in the jig here. When you use it straight, then you use also in the 90-degree here. But then you can place it on the stone perfectly and then just block it with a little screw. And then you see it stays flat, doesn't wobble around. So you have a perfect flat surface on that side. And when you have sharpened that, you can go just on the other side and do the same. And then at the end, just the bottom a little bit. And you have a perfect shaped V-shaped gouge, because it's a huge problem for the most people. And analog is for the spoon shape, then you have just to adjust.
Compensate for the curve of the spoon.
Yeah, exactly. And I will just demonstrate it for the, I will take then the camera closer here, over, and close up. We have now something small, carpenter square. Just I will take my picture up that I see what I'm doing here. So it was hidden behind a sign. Maybe you have another one, a small one. Just can make a line on the stone. You see it a little bit like this.
Yep.
I take that over the camera. Then you see that just we have a straight. We'll just change the side. You see, we have this line here, and
Seems like we lost sound.
Yeah, I think
Again.
the other phone on the tripod is struggling a little bit.
This one, the other is struggling.
Yeah, now we can hear you again. Sorry, we lost audio for a second.
Okay, I discovered I hear me a little bit myself here on that side. Oops, I've lost you. Let's see.
Yeah, I think you must have logged out from that one.
I'll go in, log in again. Log in. No, it doesn't. I have to go out here. It doesn't.
Yeah, I just reused the link. Or
I go out to just reuse the link. So going in there. Yeah, this is just to use the link in the mail. Log in and go with connecting. Perfect. So
let me see if I can find you again.
you see me.
Hold on, I have to find you and there you go.
Let's see. So the other one is still I see only my black guy, but I go on that camera. Which side? This side. Yeah. So now we have to compensate here that the line is parallel to the line on the stone surface.
Yep.
Then we are straight.
Yeah, we can see you just fine.
You see me?
Yeah, on the one from the
other, but not on that.
Yeah, no, the camera seems to be off. Yeah, you should get a notification, start video.
Yeah, now I see me. Do you see it?
Yes, I see it now.
Yeah, now it's coming back. Took maybe a little bit of while. So they ask me just for the microphone. We don't like it. I go quite close, and then looking through the mobile, and then with one hand a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
You see the line, and then it's aligned
with the tool. Yep.
Yeah. So that means you see you have a little bit angled here.
Mm-hmm.
Then you just block it. It's new, single-handed. And then you just you need a good line from the front side that you really lie flat on the stone. And then I have to go a little bit
to adjust the angle. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You have to go the edge marker, paint it black, scratch a little bit, and then when you complete the surface, then you're on the perfect angle, and then it's just seeing that you lie here perfectly flat on it, and then you block the little screw in the bottom, and then you can this screw, and then it's completely fixed, and then it can go really sideways without any problem, because if you don't fix it and go sideways, what you're doing is from the front side, you make like this movement when you go.
Yeah.
Even if you go like this, you have the feeling you do like that, but in molecular movement, you do like this, and you get quite a rounded edge, which is not what we want. You want straight ones.
Yep.
So going just back again. So therefore, is this little screw makes really easy. There's another method. If you use a diamond wheel, like what I have here on the machine, and you have our multi-base. This is this tool.
Mm-hmm.
You just place it in the horizontal position and place the universal support in the side. I will take with the camera and show you also from another angle and find a nice position. I'll take the camera again round. You see, I'll place it in here. Not maybe straight, just a little bit more, or depends also on the tool, as we have it here. And then you can use it from that way, because you can do it on the outside of a diamond wheel.
Nice. So you have a flat surface.
Exactly. If you prefer not a hollow grind, you want a flat grind, then you can use it on the outside. It's the same thing. From this distance, you determine the bevel, the angle.
Yep.
With the edge marker method. And then this angle here, you find also, and then just block it. And then you can move nicely up and down, perfectly flat. And then you turn around the other side, exactly the same one at the end. Just a little bit round. And you get a nice, perfect, goat feet or shaped tool.
Yeah. So when was the original Tormek machine invented or patented, or when did the company start?
Our company started with Tormek, and therefore also the name Tormek. Tormek means mechaniska, so Tormek is mechanical workshop.
Okay.
So he started 1973 in a garage. And if you want, I can go over, we have a museum next to it, and show you a few things if you want.
Maybe we can do that later if we like I guess we can go through a bit of like the current lineup, and then if we have time, it'd be nice to see some of the older machines.
Absolutely, we have them there, and a few pictures, right? Maybe quite funny and interesting too. And we can have also, if you want and I have time, go just through our exhibition we have actually at the moment, which is named Behind the Edge, where we work with tool makers and artists and the work, so completes that.
Okay, so stuff that has been made with tools sharpened with your systems.
Exactly. So strong brands together with us.
Oh, nice. So, but I'm sure that a lot of us, know the machines and stuff, but in a nutshell, is a wet grinding system that then has been developed over the years to work and accept, with the universal bar and then various attachments, all sorts of specialized tools that then make sharpening easier and more repeatable and faster.
Yeah, that's the Tormek way, or what Tormek is, because wet sharpening is nothing new.
Yep.
And he made just a machine for his daddy to the 60th birthday, because he was a carver. And the blacksmith came, I have a little more steel here for a few more machines. What shall we do? And then he created the idea with a machine, with a drill, not a motor, but still with the friction wheel, everything was just a very short interruption to a rubber band. But that was a little bit tricky. And then it goes back again to the friction wheel. Since then, we improved the machine, made them better and better. We have always had two machines, the small one, 1200, 1500, they call natural 900, and different versions through the years, and always evolving and getting better and more sophisticated, starting with a very small jig or a universal bar over the stone, then the vertical version, and then later on also on the horizontal. And then it came the typical Tormek shape, not straight and edged with the angled sides here. Mm-hmm. It's actual from our purchase manager a few years ago, or about 30 years, at least ago. And I said, well, we can go much closer to the machine when we have this side here, a little bit faceted, so we can get closer in and closer to the stone. We can use it a little bit more effective. So you see, all people here have an idea and it goes into the machine.
Why the friction wheel? Why not like a gear system? Is it like so that it can slip if it's too much pressure, or is it just because it's a simpler way to put it together?
Not a simpler way. It is so simple. There's nothing which can break.
Okay.
I will take off just to open up here the friction wheel. I will take.
If you turn that to the right a little bit, we can probably see it better.
So take this closer. So we have the friction wheel. There's also the rubber. What we have tested different recipes. And then this here, what you see, it is the main shaft or the motor shaft. Not the main shaft. Is this here? This is the motor shaft. Directly the axle. You see it moves. Yep. And this is the complete trick. The motor you see behind here is moving.
Changed. Yeah.
So that through the weight, it presses against it. If you think just the stone weighs around 3.8 kilos, and then you have water and it's more than 4 kilos, you have just to get it in a movement. Yep. And if you just take and look on the motor shaft, what happens, it will jump a little bit. And if you apply pressure, I just have to lift up a little water. So now the diamond wheel, I try to break the machine a little bit. Look what happens here. I have to do maybe on this side.
Like you can make it slip.
Yeah, a little bit. You see, it presses
it goes up
more on the stone. I had not too much pressure because again, it's a strange whole thing here. But you see the effect. So the more you apply pressure when you're sharpening, the more pressure the motor shaft is on the rubber wheel. So with always full power. If you have a gear shaft, the motor has to work much more.
Yep.
And it doesn't give any excuse if you make a mistake. And here it can slip. And
it's like a little built-in safety clutch.
Exactly. Totally natural. So this is also the reason when some people ask, why you have a machine, can you change the direction? Because we have to turn around the machine if you want to sharpen with or against the rotation. It doesn't work. If you think we go in this way, we get a pressure, and when you go on the other way, it will lift off when you get pressure. So it doesn't work. So we had to change around. There are other machines on the market which you can switch the motor, but they have not that solution. They have with bands or transmission or something else in different ways, but they are not as strong as that machine. This is the reason why we kept it, and nothing can break down. So it's completely simple. The more electronic you have in a machine and water, it's not a good combination.
Exactly. I wanted to ask that. Also, the fact that it's around water all the time.
Therefore, keep it simple. Then nothing can break, and the durability is there. This is also a secret. Where we stay, what's good is we stay. What we can improve, we will improve. And especially now on that machine, maybe if someone don't know the different honing wheels we have.
So the machine comes with a grinding stone and a honing wheel.
Exactly. With that stone here, the super grind 250 and the other 200 for the small machine. It's just the diameter, it's not a grid. Some wonder also why it's a different grid. No, it's only the diameter. The grid is 220. We can adjust. I will talk maybe about the different versions which are interesting for you. And normally they are supplied here with the leather honing wheel. You will use a paste. on it, and the paste is equivalent about 3 to 3,500 grit.
Okay.
To get nice polished surface. And for wood carver, so maybe for you, it could be also interesting the composite wheel. We call it CW220. 220 is the diameter.
Mhm.
And this is a caoutchouc. And try to, maybe it's a little bit glittering. This is particles in the rubber.
Also, it's just embedded. The abrasive is embedded in the rubber.
Embedded, exactly. And that's a grit around 2,500.
Okay.
By the way, it was always light. We have here beautiful light. I can switch on here. Then we have a little bit better on the other side. Then we have a little bit smaller. Now we have a little bit more light. And you see it maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And so you don't have to use a compound that wheel.
Nothing. You use it as it is. What we discovered also, when you just moisten a little bit with a sponge, because it doesn't soak any water, but just moisten a little bit, and when you polish or you hoon or deburr, gives a little bit nicer finish and a little bit better glow. I would say, so more polished.
Okay.
We don't know exactly why, but supposedly through the water, because it's like oil or something like that, the particles don't grip as hard as maybe when
it
you
acts like a lubricant.
They slip through, and the polishing effect is more than without. The big advantage is if you don't need a completely mirror finish on it, just maybe like a silky to a polished finish, when it's enough for you, you can use that tool, because then you have, for example, wood carving tools, which don't need exactly a sharpening. They're quite sharp, but not as sharp as you want. You can touch them up here, because it's like a very fine sharpening stone.
Yeah, it's just like stropping directly, like in between big sharpenings.
Exactly. And a little bit more aggressive than normal, just honing, or not as aggressive as a stone, for example.
What I just recently got the T4, and I love it. And I did not know about the whole system of like grading the SG wheel and how that worked, where you can get different grades out of the same stone. I found that was absolutely genius. So I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Our SG stone, the Tormek Super Grind, is the SG for that. It's a recipe from us, so it's not a stone where you can buy in every store under another brand or another name. So they're made in Europe after our specifications and recipe. And it's an aluminium oxide. You can sharpen up to 70 Rockwell. Of course, the harder it is, the longer it takes. Most tools are around 60, plus minus a little bit, so absolutely no problem. And as you said, the huge advantage is this tool here. It's called the SP650 Stone Grader. And as you see, it has 2 layers. Most people don't read the handbook. It's a good tool for deburring. No, it isn't. This is our stone grader. That means now I have a diamond wheel. I don't do it because the diamond wheel, you do it only once and you can throw it in the bin.
Yeah.
But if you have to remove a lot of material, for example, you have a broken tool or it's chipped out and you have to remove a lot of material. There's my support. The easiest way. and place them in a position which is comfortable for you.
Yep.
You have bigger or smaller hands. And then I put my arms on here, and then you have the rough side on the other, the bottom side. And then you hold it, and then you can really push in the stone, and then not stand there, because then you get a groove. And then when you go a centimeter like over, or that side over, then you get the edge which you created into the stone. So just move sideways. Use the edge, not the surface. Really, the edge of the tool. You can use them all around. What that is doing, it is ripping out the sharpening particles, or the abrasives, because you have abrasives embedded in a bearing material, which is a little bit softer. So you have to expose those. And then this is the surface, you expose them.
Yep.
And it's quite aggressive. Then you get an effect of around, it's always 220, you can change a grip, but it's maybe like an effect like 160 wheel or so, or 140 wheel. The more you use pressure when you're sharpening, the faster it goes back to the 220.
To a finer.
You can just reactivate again. For example, you have a big chisel. You want to remove, have chips for chip outs, or you have hit a nail or whatever, or you have dropped it, you have a half a millimeter checks in there, then quite a bit on a bigger chisel. Then you have it in there, just in front of it. Rough it up.
Yep.
Use a lot of pressure, rough it up. Then you can do a 40 millimeter chisel with a half millimeter to a millimeter in less than 3 minutes with that machine. Because most say, it takes too much time. Use a little bit force, no problem. But not on the diamond wheel. Yeah. I say always, when you use pressure, and you see on the nail in the front, I don't know if you see it on the camera, when they start getting white in the front.
That's too much.
That's pressure enough, because you will destroy the diamond wheel. The diamonds will crack. Diamonds are sensible to pressure. And then your diamond wheel will be very fast, very fine, and finer and finer and finer. So diamond wheels, no pressure. But the advantage is you have always a flat in the same dimensions and have the outside. This is the big advantage. It's not better or stands forever. Like diamonds, you say, yeah, it's the hardest. You can't destroy it. That's not true. Less pressure, the lifespan of the wheel is much longer than with the high pressure. On the stones, you can use much more pressure, but again, there is a sweet spot. You will discover it when you use a lot of pressure. You will crack the kernels too, the sharpening particles. Then you get finer and finer, and then you again on the other side of the effect of the speed and faster movement of the.
And so when you're done doing the rough grinding, then you use the stone on the other side to make it fine.
Rough, and then for the finish, I go, and this is a little bit a trick. The fine side, I don't use it. You see on the camera?
Yeah, we see.
Yep. Not again diagonal. I go lengthwise, because this is 50 millimeters. The stones are 50 millimeters. Then I can use complete, so I can go on the side. It looks like that.
You can use the whole surface of the stone.
Exactly. Then I not use the edges or make grooves or whatever. Then I have a nice surface all the way. So that keeps also a little bit longer. Then you get the effect of 1,000 grit. So then it's very easy to go over to get a nice polish on your tool. Woodworking tools are quite soft normally.
Yep.
Or you go, if you prefer, can go on a Japanese waterstone with a 4,000 grit. Then you get a completely mirror finish and nearly no burr, just very fine, which is very slightly just to remove on the leather. And then you have extreme sharp tool. This is my favorite stone, for example.
So out of the box, when you get the machine, you have the SG stone and the honing wheel with the leather. Then you can you can accessorize with either different grades of diamond stones or the Japanese stones that are meant for like very fine grinding, like more mere like 4,000 and up. I don't know how.
Exactly.
Can I
Normally,
ask a question?
normally, yeah. Just a second.
please, John.
The normal SD stone is absolutely enough.
Okay, so
Only
that's
when you say I want a little bit more, go for the Japanese stone, or if you're extreme hard tools, you can use the Blackstone, the silicon carbide, or go over to diamond wheels.
Okay.
okay. So you could take just a 4,000 grit water stone and use that as a surface treatment, is what you're saying to the.
No, it's a different wheel. The Japanese stone that he's talking about, it's a different wheel that's like a higher grit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And the stone is also quite soft. It's also aluminum oxide, but a 4,000 grit, and embedded in a type resin bonded.
Mm-hmm.
It will, because it's so fine, remove not as much material. It is more for the finish. Or just for the maintenance, instead of maybe the composite wheel here, and you go over just because it's more like only just refreshing, touching up, or just the finish. Because normally your tools, when you take care of them, they are really not heavily damaged.
Yeah.
And my advice is also sharpen more than less. You save a lot of time. It sounds a bit crazy because, again, sharpening, it works in a bit of way. But if you have always perfect tools, it's much faster also in sharpening the process.
Well, you spend less time at the sharpener, grinding away.
Exactly.
But that brings me to my next question, because then the sharpening can be as fast as lightning, but if the setup takes forever, then you still are like, oh, I have to go sharpen and stuff. So even if you're at the wheel for 10 seconds, but if it takes like 10 minutes to find the right angle, and so I think it'd be cool to see how quick it can be to find the angle and set it up and make it repeatable, so that that also doesn't take long. And then, like, let's say for chisels, once you find your sweet spot at 25 or 30 degrees, then you can do a whole set of chisels in no time at all, because the setup remains the same.
Absolutely. You can use, for the first time, our AngleMaster. I can demonstrate it just quick. We need it. In the morning when I prepare, so then I remove. I have just to go on the other side here. We have much more coffees here. So, luckily in the sharpening studio, some sharpening stations here. When you clamp it, also a few tricks and tips. Beautiful is if you have 90 degrees in your chisel.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 88 or 89 or so, it doesn't matter, because you normally have here also a drawing cut, not straight in the fiber. It's going like cutting a little bit, sawing. And if you have smaller ones, which are narrow ones, you can move over here, because most think if you're here on the side, you have 90 degrees perfect in here. That's true. But when the chisel, because when you have a long way here, and then you clamp it a little bit too hard here, then the bottom comes up. Your chisel can be slightly, I take it out,
skew it.
over there. And then it's also on the surface diagonal, and then it's not perfect. So these are the two references on the side, and the mirror side has to be absolute flat on the top. And when you move it together, the risk is very little that you can move it too far. Then the two knobs here, there's also a lot of questions about them for what they are there. Some people ignore them or don't think about it, because on the back side you have, I don't know if you see it, it's very little here. It's a line from
there's a line, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That means not automatically the zero line. It sometimes can be a quarter up or a half, or sometimes even a one completely line above or below, because it's only a casted line. It's more like an indication, but you put it only once, adjusted it.
That's like a jig setup thing where you
Yeah.
make sure that it's a 90-degree once, and then once
Yeah.
you set it up, that's it.
You see, therefore it's movable. When I have it here, I can move it. You see it in that camera? So you get a slightly movements.
Yeah.
This is good when you have a light, curved, or cambered planer blade, for example. Therefore you use it. But even if the chisel, sometimes you have handmade chisels, they're not 100% symmetric. Then you have also sometimes difficulties to get the perfect edge or the perfect angle here. You can go on the outside and then line this side to the inside or the outside. It's a little bit difficult here now on the diamond wheel.
So you use the stone as a reference for the 90 degrees.
Exactly, and then I get my 90 degrees there too. So slightly both sides, and then block it. And then you're perfect 90 degrees. Or you have like the line we've drawn before here. Where is it? Here, you can check it also on that line if it's perfect aligned to it. And
the bevel that you drew on the stone with the square, so you know that line is square. So you want to have the front of the cutting edge to be parallel with that.
But it works only if you have a perfect chisel from the beginning, because when it's a little bit diagonal to the line, when it's off.
Yep.
And then the AngleMaster diamond wheel is always, we go here, 250 on that side. Otherwise, when your stone is getting a little bit less in diameter, you have to adjust it. And you find in the front of the machine a scale next to it, and you look just from top in there, and then you can read. You have lost maybe now 5 millimeters, and then you can just also adjust it here on.
Okay, so that's to compensate for the wear of the stone if you have the regular stone, not the diamond stone.
Exactly, because there's a little bit mathematic in here. Because the angle is determined about the height, the diameter. So this triangle radius up here to the vertical support and forward the protrusion.
Okay.
And then a chisel, standard 25 degrees. Then a turn around like this, which you see. And then you don't place it on here. This lower edge here is where the stone and the tool meet together, all these three.
Okay.
Because here it happens not above here, because the diameter would be much bigger. So therefore,
it's at the contact point.
No. And then I just make it a little faster. And then you see there's maybe, do you see it in the camera? Maybe it's a little bit too little. There's make this here over, which just you see what I mean? Not here, you measure here. You see I have a
Yep. So you have to bring up
just to lift up more until like here, the gap is vanished. Then you have exactly your 25 degrees. Or this is one thing, it's a little bit technical, but it is really fast. And if you want more precise, you can just look. If it's okay, then use the edge marker method, blacken the bevel, draw around, and you see on the back side, I have a little bit.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of fine tuning.
Yeah, even then you see if you have to fine tune here a little bit. The better you have adjusted, desto faster is the grinding, because then you need just a few strokes and passes. Because when you have slightly off, then you have to sharpen all the way through, and then you're also off. So it is quite fast. It looks now, and if you explain, it takes a long time, but it's so fast.
Yep.
Absolutely no problem. Especially the bigger the tool is, desto bigger is the pain. Because when you start, you have the beginning, you're very fast, and then the last 2 millimeters takes more. time because the surface is getting bigger and bigger.
Yes.
So this is my tip and advice, really.
And the
Good
stone, and usually you grind against the rotation of the wheel, right? Like
yeah, we sharpen at that moment in that rotation here. So in this direction, edge, not edge trailing. We are going. What is the other name? The edge trailing and so against the rotation.
Yeah, the other way.
The reason is when I go over here like this. So when we have this movement, I take this off. We have more or less a little bit more like better contact. Presses more to the stone. Well, if we would use it on this side, we have slightly less pressure, less control. It can happen freehand. It's impossible. Then you would, because the question would stand here. Then you have always edge training.
Yeah.
On this side, freehand. But why freehand if you have the complete beautiful system? Because one look, go back, you never touch the same surface. You end up with many bevels and facets. So really, the fastest, the easiest is really use the cheeks and the adjustments. And then, as you said, if you have a few chisels to do, and you have the first time you're set up, then you can have maybe a small wooden block with a protrusion on it, and you can use. Don't change the height.
Yep.
You place your tool here and get always the same protrusion.
Yeah.
When you have a stop, then it's very easy. Plop in, over, ready to go.
And then do you get less of a burr sharpening that way? Because I feel like the burr would be carried out by stone.
Because we take from the tip here the material down here. You don't get at the end here the bevel, no burr. And this burr is more like a compressed burr, which is much finer, much faster and easier to remove. Otherwise, you will take all the material from behind and it will build up.
It just piles up on the tip.
Yeah. It's like for people who know or lives in the Alps, the snow, when they blow it over the hill tops, builds up, and it's the same here.
Yeah.
It's much more work to remove it.
Mm-hmm.
And the risk is the more you hone, the more you do, the bigger the risk is to round it off again. Because you want the nice crisp edge.
So at the honing stage, you just want to literally just remove the burr and like polish it a little bit, but it does not. It shouldn't be that much work to do.
When we are talking about honing, you can just use for example, if you want a guided honing, you use again the MB100 and 2, because we have 2 holes in the top here. Close a little too much. A bit more, open more, still more. So then you can turn it around because the machine is going in that way. Honing is always edge trailing.
Yeah.
Never against the leather. You'll cut in the
cut into the leather.
Yeah. So you can choose also a complete guided version, but then you have to adjust the angle again. Or if some tools, for example, I prefer edge trailing when I use the Japanese waterstone. Chisel is not a big issue because it's completely fixed. You can go away. It sharpens your chisel itself because it's completely fixed. But when you have knives or so with an edge, you can cut easily in the surface.
Yeah.
And to drew a Japanese stone, it's a pain because it's like soapy, very soft to drew. Therefore, I prefer not to get a catch, sharpening edge trailing.
You just work the other way. Okay.
Because the burr you create here on a 4,000 grit is so little. So that's not the issue at that moment. So that's much bigger issue if you cut into the stone. So you can use it machines in both ways. Therefore, we don't need also a switch to change the directions. We can change the direction easily in that way. Also, many have questioned about honing. Maybe a little bit of tip for you too is not to round off the edge. What I do, go here on the side. Yeah, I think you see it quite good here. You see on the side, I put my hand in the wheel here. When you start here,
if you can
hold your hand.
Yeah, we can see that, right? If you can turn the vertical phone to its right a little bit, we could see it from both sides. Like if you can turn the other phone just a teeny tiny bit to your left, we can probably see it.
This camera, you mean?
Yeah. If you, yeah, perfect.
Yes, perfect.
So
yes,
we can see both.
So little on the mobile.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to hold your hand in here. Nothing happens. But this gives you really, really good control. When you have the burr here on the mirror side, the first thing that mostly happens, people go over, take it off, and then you rip off more or less also the edge, and you end up with a little bit the Alps or the Himalayas, or when you look on a magnifier. The best way is just hold here, use the thumb as a pressure, and then start from the heel upwards. And when you will feel it, when you land on the bevel, it is like surfing on a wave. So the friction, you feel it's scraping, and when you're exactly on the bevel here, it is nearly no friction.
Okay.
Then you're exactly on the bevel, and then you get a nice crisp edge, because it's also abrasive. You just thinning it out until the burr falls apart, off. And then just a little bit, the rest, I go over here. I don't touch the edge here. I go only about 5 or 10 seconds polishing my mirror side.
You just give it a
The
clinic.
better the mirror side is, the better is your edge. Because every line in here, it just look like a hand here. So this would be the edge, and this is the mirror side. You have every stretch in here. You will have
when
edge
that
like
comes
this.
to the edge. Yep.
Yeah. If it's nicely planned and flat and polished, the edge is much better. And then I go just 12 o'clock. I'm here horizontal, and then I stop here at 12 o'clock. If you go below, you'll create another facet and round off.
Yep.
So just for and break off the rest, and you dry, and then you get the perfect, really crisp edge, which is much, much sharper than drying something else. Try to use the machine as much as possible.
Yeah.
You can hold it.
On again, just like a normal basic, either T4 or T8, to flatten the the bottom of a chisel, you still have to use like a stone, or can you like work it on the side of the regular stone if you don't have a diamond stone? On the diamond stone, you can do the side, right?
Diamond stone is no problem, yes. On the stone, the problem is you can't drew the outside.
Okay.
So you can do it a few times. What I've done before we had the diamond wheels, I've used first the stone, and when it came through and it was a irregular result, I used just wet sharpening cloth.
Yeah, regular. Okay.
And on a glass surface, and then just about 3-4 steps, and then polishing it up here.
Yeah, so you still, and odds are if you've been sharpening up till now, you already have chisels that have been flattened and trued and polished on that side. So it would happen only with new chisels that you might have to flatten on a diamond stone or with the sandpaper method or stuff like that.
or you have just your wet stones. You have to chew them nicely. It works also fine.
Yep. Could you show us, because I'm thinking of chisels, you have the jig, if you have the regular stone, you have to have like the little diamond truing system to make sure that the stone is flat and round. But I think, for us, probably it'd be interesting to see also like small carving knives, small knives, how those, or, just carving tools where you can have whittling knives and stuff like that. I think this is something that we use a lot, and how you go about sharpening those.
Max, could I throw another thing
Please?
in there? So I'd love to know, like, because there's so many wheels, right? That you could get, especially if you're doing the diamond and you want to have multiples. I'd love to know how quickly you can change a wheel, because that's one thing that's always made me wonder if, like, I've never committed to buying the T8. I was gonna buy the original, and then you guys came out with the diamond, and that was the worst thing ever, only because it made it harder for me to make a decision as to which way to go. But I've always wondered, like, how quickly can you swap a wheel if you did go with multiple diamonds versus going the original?
I can show you.
10 seconds.
It's like Formula One. Just take out the water trough. Yeah. Oops, a little bit water, and then you use your hands and just against the left thread it to open off the wheel.
Holy shit.
The next one on it.
Wow.
Just on it. Just start the machine. So when it takes in the right moment.
And the beauty.
You can't open it. If you would come here, try to open it for me without this here. Just try to open it, holding the stone, and try to open it here. I will pay you a dinner when you manage it. It's no way.
Oh man, okay, that is awesome. Thank you.
Not to make you, Jonathan, spend all your money, but the beauty with the diamond wheels is that they have the same diameter. So if you're changing the grit, the setup remains the same. You just swap the wheel and go up the grit, and 10 seconds, and you're in business again.
Wow.
A good point. The diamond wheels. This is what I said there. They're not faster or they're not better. Depends what you want. For example, for a wood turner, when you have a lot of, or even you have a lot of round tools, a lot of gouges, or big ones, and then you have flat tools, and it could happen that your stone surface is a little bit curved, and then you have something flat. You have to drew your stone, which you don't need to with the diamond wheels. They're always flat and stays in shape. You just change it, and you just take your jig again, and without any changes, you go through all the steps. If you have all the three stones, for example, 360, 600 grit, 1200 grit, you don't need to adjust.
So you could use the regular SG stone for all the gouges and curved blades where you don't really need it to be flat, and then just have the diamond for all the flat blades.
I would say you can cover with the original SG stone 95% of your tools and work. And for the special things which you use maybe the outside, you want to have a perfect flat, not a hollow grind. Then you have the fine, for example, it's a 600 grit to 220, but the effect is the same, the comparison between both. So you're fine. It's perfect. It's especially for wood turners, we've developed it because we had the silicon carbide, because it's a little bit harder. It's also 220 grit, but the compound and the glue in the stone is a little bit harder, so it not deforms as fast as the standard stone.
Okay.
Definitely we had that stone, but then everyone diamond, CBN, and whatever. We had to do then the diamond wheels because you have the outside the advantage, and this is also our protected. You can't patent it because it's nothing new, but they have the same design like the stones. When you buy diamond wheels, they're mostly on the market about a half a centimeter or a centimeter on the side. going over, not completely down, and they're not trued. Ours are completely flat and trued to be able to sharpen in in a perfect symmetry.
So when you get them, they're flat all the way around. They're 90 degrees all the way around, and they're flat on the side.
Yeah. This is also maybe a point to talk about the discussion, diamond and CBN wheels. Why we decided or why we have diamond wheels. It's a very simple reason. If you look just in the industry, or if you have your flat stones, the flat diamond, it's diamond, not CBN, because everything is slow. You use diamond, and the high-speed grinders or the slow-speed grinders, but most speed maybe 500, 400, or 1400 rounds. It's just a half of a normal bench grinder. Then you use CBN. CBN need a little bit more speed because it's half as hard as a diamond, and it needs the speed to resharpen itself.
Like
So it
breaks
cracks
off.
a little bit, and it's always sharp. Or we don't need that on a diamond. So this is the reason why we have diamond, because for that, otherwise we could took also CBN, but it's the wrong super abrasive for that application here for the motor. That's the reason why.
Cool. Okay. I don't know if you want to show the knife sharpening.
Yeah. Just more or less like this. What you use for the bridges, for example.
Yeah, something similar. Yeah, like neck, like headstock transition. That's something very similar. That would.
Yeah, the very small ones, because you have one problem when you use them. When you use the normal knife jig here, our KG45, you need at least 2 millimeters to clamp secure. So that's in here.
Oh, inside the clamp.
Yeah, and 12 millimeters protrusion. Otherwise, you will grind on the jig on the bottom.
Oh yeah, the jig will hit the stone. Okay.
Yep. So 14 millimeters is a minimum. And this is smaller. Then we use the SVM00, the small knife holder, because it's an adapter. You use it over the handle. Just have to open it a little bit. Oh, was exactly in the wrong direction. So, and then you place it in here, and then you have like here. This is a false blade.
Yeah. Okay. So
you put it on a flat surface that both lies flat together. You can't see it because it's here on the. It's also too.
Yeah, just the edge of the table. You just clamp it together.
Exactly. Then it's flat together. Tighten it with that screw. So at the end, you have a perfect, flat, aligned blade to the fake blade. Because then the edge here is in the middle of the fake blade. Otherwise, it is a little bit off-center. If you place it down, you would have two different angles.
Okay, so the fact that it's in the middle, then when you flip the jig, you're doing the same bevel on both sides.
Exactly. Of that. And then you use just the knife jig. Use it here. Just on that. And then I use also, you see it's a little bit curved. And I take it not exactly straight in here. I go also a little bit in the shape. So that more or less the jig end here is more or less parallel to you don't measure it, it just makes it a little bit easier. From here to the tip, a thought line here, and you want to have this little more.
Okay, so you basically average out the curve of the blade.
Yeah, the more easier is it to get it nice in the shape. And you close the jig here, and then where's our universal ball? So, turn around the machine, of course. It's good to have a turning table too. A small trick to get this a little bit faster in the other direction. So we need quite high position here. And here's the easiest way, just to mark the bevel and place it on top, scratch, adjust a little bit the heights to get a perfect surface. Some do only a tiny, tiny secondary bevel. So it is a little bit up to you. If you want to grind here the complete Scandic grind or just a nice tiny secondary bevel. Depends if you want to use, of course, when you cut the bevel as a guiding, then I would sharpen complete bevel. Otherwise, your cutting point is tight, maybe a tenth or a 20th of a millimeter higher than below. So, but I think it's nothing new to you. And then we go over and we fine adjust it, as I said, just to the height. We see it from
we can see it. Yeah, the one in the front is fine.
And then you place it just here on the machine. The turning is against me again. I just hold it here in my hand, place it flat on it, and then we skip the moment of the adjustment. Otherwise, it takes too long just to get the water on it, the water film here. This is also a good guiding. If you have only water on one side, then you're too flat here. If you have water on the other side, you're lying on the other side. So you won't have water completely over the edge. And you see I have my finger here, it's very close, nothing can happen. Don't use a lot of pressure, use it quite, do you see a little bit of water on the stone? I make a little bit on the left side here, or a little bit on that side. This is what we don't want. We want really go slow, water, and then apply a little bit pressure, and then lifting it up, and then just over, nice and even, and up. This is what we want to do. Now we get a tiny, tiny secondary bevel. With a bit lower, then we have the perfect bevel. But this is really important to lift it up to the tip. Don't make it like a golf swing to the side, also following the shape here. So don't do that movement, really only up.
When you just lift up your elbow, yeah.
This is a smaller knife. I want to show you maybe on a bigger knife the effect. If you think you have clamped just a normal kitchen knife here, where's our line here? And turn a little bit to that camera again. So if you would think the angle is perfect, we sharpen that way. So I go up with the blade, and then I can really easily adjust the heights to get a nice even bevel all the way along the blade. If I go too high, I will take off the tip, then it will get round. So if you see, it is really easy and self-explaining. When you go the golf swing, for example, here, go over here like that, you see I'm here and now I'm here. Much flatter. What happens to the tip? You will have a nice bevel here. And then from here, when it starts up, you will have maybe a 5 millimeter wide bevel on the tip. That looks not nice. So really just lift it up. Don't draw it back to you on a kitchen knife or on every knife. Because you change the angle and it's get much flatter. And then the other side is exactly the same. You just take over to the other side, hold it here, over, and then lift it up, and then flat. And the water is a very good indication, and you feel it also if you're scraping more on the edges, because they're quite aggressive. And when you sharpen on a stone, I recommend, if you don't need a crisp edge, for example, in a tool, you have to go quite long in here. You would use the last 1.5 millimeter here, for example, in here. Then let it straight. But otherwise, I recommend use the stone grater, not on the diamond wheel, of course, now on the stone, just round it off the edges a little bit. Just break them off a little bit. They're much more forgiving when you touch.
Oh, if
on
you're
the
not perfectly on the thing, you don't make little divots.
Exactly. If you have this edge here and come with a knife here, you have immediately a triangle in here. They're quite aggressive. When they're rounded, it's more forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
So
And also on some knives, there's at the end of the blade towards the handle, you have a little bit of relief.
Yeah,
so you can get closer.
Exactly. Then I can go. I take maybe from the side. I like the boning knives, for example, in the kitchen. They have just going a little bit round.
Yep.
I can use the edge is very aggressive. Doesn't work. You really do need to have a radius about 1.5 or 2 millimeters radius on each side. You will lose a little bit in the width, but that's very little, because if you think T4 has 40 millimeters, we have here 50 millimeters. And then I start here over the edge a little bit down, and then also that movement a little bit down, and then landing, and then all the way forward. But on the way back, I stop before the relief.
The flat. Okay.
Because everything, it's like uphill when you come.
Mm-hmm.
It's digging in, really, it digs in the corner. So I do always downhill, flat over, back, stop, and then I take a little bit extra, and then again movement. So only downhill. If you have these recurves in there, it's like recurve outdoor knives, for example. I think I have one here. You see that shape? Or
yeah. Uh-huh.
So this is what I mean with downhill. And I go over. When I go back, I stop here, and then go just one here, and then again to get it.
Yeah, you don't want to dig into the metal when you're moving side to side.
Exactly, you dig in here.
Mm-hmm.
So always downhill. Here, always you can say it's also uphill here, but this radius it's much more flat. So that movement is here also downhill, and then at that moment when you have this extreme curve, I go not only up, I go a little bit forward, outside 45 degrees, more or less up and forward, and then back, stop here, and then over. Then you get it also really, really nice. They are a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
Shapes you have to train a little bit, play a little bit, make dry without the running machine, just slightly over to get the feeling of the movement. It's like a wave. And it's if you've done it a few times, it's easy.
Well, as with everything, you need a little bit of a practice, but yeah, the first like jack plane blade that I sharpened on the thing was just so easy, and it came out just perfect in no time at all. I was like, why have I been waiting?
Because everything is fixed. I was in Switzerland a few years ago, and they said, "Come with me. I have to show you the first full automatic Tormek." I said, "What do you mean full automatic?" So you had a planer blade also clamped in the cheek, measured it, played it, and in the workbench, you put a broomstick in front, clamped in, fastened in the workbench, and then a rubber band around the handle and the broomstick. So we had this pressure on the stone, and then you left for a coffee and come back, and it says it's done. Even that is possible.
Yeah, low tech but effective.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just a rubber band.
Yeah. I don't know if we have any questions from the guys who are.
I've from the US a few weeks ago, an interesting question. They use the gouge, but they want the, you see, fingernail.
To polish the inside.
Yes, it's polished on the inside, and then they want normally a gouge is flat and straight, but they wanted to have. I was out of the picture now. You see a fingernail?
Okay.
Profile on it. If you're interested, I can show you how to do it. And also, do you use these? I don't know the English word for it. Balleisen is the German word for when you have both sides sharpened, not and then but convex shaped.
Okay.
How to do that? Because they use it for carving around, and they want not flat. They want the round to play a little bit more in different shapes.
Yeah,
I'd love to know how to do the rounding. That's interesting. I didn't think you could do that.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about 2 weeks ago. I got the questions, and I was here half an hour playing again, and found a way, which was quite simple, with a really extremely good result. Quite happy with it. And I can show you both how to do it if you're interested. The adjustment, which tools you need.
Sure.
Yep. We start with the gouge. Turn around. The gouge we do from the horizontal position. Again, it's quite a bit to a little bit faster.
Quick rolling.
Because it's around half a millimeter each turn, so it takes a while. I use for where I have it here again, our SVD-186 R. When you buy them new, they are straight, so you have to remove quite a bit from the sides. What I've done, and this is also a general rule, if you have a goat feet or gouge, whatever, which is quite a deep damage, everything has to be removed until the lowest point, of course. The fastest way is go just flat on here, and then in frontal on the stone, and then just cut off really the front. Because then you have also a nice, when you look from straight into the tool, a nice silver line, because you have this cutting surface. It gives you, when you sharpen around, a good indication where you have to remove material, because nicely parallel, you want to come to the inside, like the narrow side again. Then you know exactly where to remove material, especially for goat feet. It is, don't try it a little bit here, cut off, then you have perfect, you see, in the front, if you go together like this, so parallel together or a little bit like this, no, okay, I need here a little bit more material to remove here, then really nice from parallel. It's so easy because you don't sharpen blind, you have a reference.
Yeah.
And for that, to get then that shape, I go just as long, as far I prefer, take the movement round just to cut off that part. And then to equalize it a little bit, I go on the stone here, and then I mostly from here, and then just go down, just to get the nice shape. Then the rough work is done, and then I have really perfect line, which I use again, the SVD-186, place it in there, nicely symmetrical in the middle, go over here through the distance, find my angle, or you can use again, where is it, here, or AngleMaster, place it on here on the inside to your preferred angle. Mostly it's at 20 degrees. So at that moment means I have to go a little bit down. It's easier to take the screw, of course. It was luckily perfect. Just a little bit all the way to the stop, and then a little bit in there. So perfect. And then you block it. Then you have to adjust here a little bit too, because you want to, the rolling over against the line we have, so you draw already again a line on the
Down
stone.
the stone.
So when you roll over, you want to roll along the line, not below the line or over the line.
I see.
And this is just, you have to find the right position. For me, it's like, this number for that here is number 3. And just block it. And then how far you take it over, it is how far you switch or swing over. So in that case, I go more or less from here. It is maybe 60 to 60 degrees if you say 0 degrees in the middle.
Mhm.
So 60 degrees over 60. So you see it in the tips when you touch the stone. And mostly you see a black line also. This is exactly where you're touching the stone and sharpening at the moment. So it's really nice to see how far you go over, because when you sharpen, you see the lines. And this gives you a very good
Because there's no
indication.
water. Because it dries out the water where you're touching, so you have a mark where you're grinding.
Yeah, and even when you're sharpening, you go over, you see a line from the material you grind off.
Oh,
Get a nice, a little bit black line over, and when you go, the line moves exactly where you take this.
I
And
see.
then you know what? I'm on the edge. Stop, not go farther. When you go further, you round off completely.
You round off that edge, yeah.
Yeah, and then you, just from the front side, you see through the cut line or the silver line you get, the surface where you have to sharpen more or less. And you get a really nice shape of that.
Nice. Yeah,
Also, you have a little over grind. For the most people, it's not an issue. On the other side, you can do it also on the outside. Then you get a flat bevel. Then you just use, again, the MB102 to the outside and here over, and then you can roll on the outside.
Yeah, that's a handy tool to have so that you can work on both sides to be able to have the bar in different positions.
Yeah. And then the both-sided concave shape. I use the same jig. Just open a little bit, place it, and here you have, of course, the risk that it is not flat in there. That can be a little bit sliding, so you have really to check that it's exactly nicely symmetrical in there. So, and then I need my MB100 again. So this tool is so beautiful. Now it really release all possibilities of the machine here. You can touch every point.
Every
Also,
surface, yeah, on both sides, trailing the other way.
Or you can use it here on top and have it like this. For a knife, for example, then you have this long, flat surface you can make completely straight when it's rounded. So there are many, many possibilities. So really be creative. So this,
and then especially with the diamond stones, because it gives you access to the side of the stone a lot better.
Yeah. No. Sorry, it was 2 weeks ago. What I've done was, I've done it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So this has to be open. You adjust it to the right angle through that distance, like through the heights. You adjust it horizontally. Then you can do another thing. Take this off. I'll put this to the bottom here. Put it in here. Gives you a little bit like a stop. Gives you a little bit better control because you don't fall all the way down. So, and then now I have to think a little bit. It's late again. Yeah, exactly. So this movement here has to be, if you open too wide, it's too loose. You have to find the right sweet spot that it still opens.
But it doesn't swivel.
Yeah, exactly. Then you find the flat position. You block this screw here at the end. So it doesn't move sideways or down. And then you find from here to here a little bit inside for me. So I can block this too. And then you adjust like this movement. That means what I do is
Okay, so you can pivot the thing on the bar because you're not locking it, and then so it's like a double joint. That's cool.
I will just take the camera, makes it easier from the top. Switch the right.
It's like a double articulation.
Set up here. And here, just find a bit comfortable position. And then when you take this from here, you place it below here. It doesn't fall all the way down.
Yeah,
There's a nice position on the side. And then you just find the angle. And then when this is blocked, it's flat on the surface here. It doesn't turn around, and then you just...
Because it rotates on, wow, yeah.
Because it rotates on the bar. Yeah,
that's what I was wondering. I was like, wait, isn't it going to go away? But no, you've got the 2 point. Wow, that's clever.
Yep, this is the thing what I've 2 weeks ago. How can I sharpen this? You can do it freehand too, but when you do it here, it's more guided. It's perfect, symmetrical, both sides. And then I made a marking on the side of the tool here.
So when you flip it over
and switch it over, then I have the same protrusion.
Yeah,
done.
That's cool.
So simple.
Once you figure it out.
It took me a while, but funny. The best ideas I have in the morning when I'm in the shower, strangely. And I know I have good ideas when I go to bed, but I forgot in the morning. I know I have a good idea. I found the solution. I said, oh, great. And then in the morning, it's gone.
Cool.
But morning in the shower is always good to have the best ideas. And then you come in the workshop and try it, and it works.
So a good Christmas present would be waterproof notepad for the shower. So you write down ideas.
Today you can have the voice recorders also.
Yes. True that.
Yes.
That was great. I don't know. Do you guys have any questions? Anybody that has the tool and had run into some issues, or tips and tricks, or little anecdote, or if there's anything else we want to ask Wolfgang while we have him.
I have 2 tools, which are, one is impossible with a Tormek, and the other one I can give a tip to find a solution. If you have, do you use these tools, which like 90 degree, but the bevel on the inside?
It's like a square mortise cutter type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't, but yeah, some people might.
You see it maybe on the picture in the center. You can't touch it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't work on the edge here either. You can't get in perfectly. So that doesn't work. You need really straight ones, and then in the middle, you need really a straight thing to sharpen it. It doesn't work on a rounded one. Or the so-called shallow chisel is the name I've got. It's like the gouge or shallow gouge, like this, but it's straight in the front, and the bevel is on the inside. They're quite round.
I see.
I don't know if you use them. On the inside, you can't touch it, but I saw it in Mittenwald in the violin making. school, and they have also guitar and have a different classes. And in Interlaken, and the school, they offered one of the stones. And what I've done with the stone grader and the diamond wheel, they took off material here and here, and then they get the profile they have.
Like a profile stone, yeah.
That's 3 stones with 3 different radius,
Mhm.
because then it works when you use it in that way. But you have to offer, of course, a stone.
Yeah. You can't do everything. There's still room for other sharpening methods, and well, that was awesome.
Can I ask a question, Max?
Please do.
Yeah. Wolfgang, thank you very much. I have a machine, and it's very old. I've been using it for years. But I've also always had a question about short chisels. I don't know if you can see. This is a high-end Japanese chisel.
Yep.
When I place it in the holder to secure, I don't have enough blade length to use the attachment to get to the proper angle.
Exactly. You touch with a jig on the stone because it's too short.
Yeah. So I end up having to do these by hand, and I'm wondering if I have, again, this is not even up to date for what you have with the other 2 knobs. Is there another device I should be using, or do I just keep doing these by hand?
You can use yours, and you see, I have also one here. I was well prepared because this question, I was 99% sure it would come up. So you use it as your chisel. You clamp it in the same way as you have it. And I clamp it too. It works only on the diamond wheel because you have to sharpen on the outside. Because through the rounding, you have always something here on the stone in behind. When you go on the side, I will take the telephone. And also a good thing is, we have in the bottom also this other screw. We can take out also the ring. Some is security. And then you can place it here too on the side. And you don't fall all the way down. And you find a nice position. I will show you the setup. This is fine adjustment we skip. I see also here it's not exactly. Then you can use the 2 screws because it was not flat on it. It was a little bit off. So I'll take the mobile and show you the setup. So again, on the side, with a fine adjust normally all over the way, because then you can adjust the, I open it just to show what the movement is. You see here, you get the right angle. I place this little one, which is here, you don't have, so you have to keep it. Or you have the SVD-186, you take it from there as a stop. And then you see how much space I have behind, because here it's completely free. And I can use much less protrusion. I just, with one hand, try to get it out. You see, I just place it on the side, 1 second.
Here you can get really close.
Really, really, really close. I just go a little bit. So maybe I have a protrusion completely 1 centimeter. And I can, and still complete. The complete bevel is on the stone, and you see still I have space about 3-4 millimeters. And I have a protrusion from here, very short. And
Very
still
good.
enough space.
Wolfgang, what combination of like attachments would that be? Because that was another thing that was always hard. Is like you could buy the original kit, and then there's the hand tool kit and the wood turner's kit. You know, there's all these different ones for that little side assembly. Is that like? Are you? Yeah, like what all? Just out of curiosity, what attachments are all right there?
There's just 2 things plus the diamond,
2 things.
right?
Yeah. This is the MB102. It's a multi-base, which you can use in all, reach all the faces and spots on the stone. And this is, in that case, your old one. You have a very old one. There's two versions in between. And this is the latest since 2016, when we introduced the T8 with the two knobs, because you can do also like, you see on our plane.
You can do a little camber plane. Yeah.
Exactly, straight, or even a little bit more radius. And this is done with the two screws when you open it, so you can they go around.
And so would the diamond wheel work on Paul's old machine? Is the shaft the same?
It is always our idea to be a little bit, you say, I forgot the English word, to be compatible in both ways.
Okay.
Saves resources. If you have an old machine, the new stuff fits on your old one. Yeah. Even the old chicks work on a new machine. So in both ways, it's compatible. There are very, very rare things which are not working. We had, could be maybe the universal support slightly, it's nearly nothing thicker, because it's not like chrome, it was more like zinc or so. Okay. A while. So it slides not very well, but invest. It works also, but it's not comfortable. It's struggling always. Mm-hmm. Buy a new universal support, because that universal support fits in all in the old machines. That's no issue.
Very good. Thank you.
Welcome.
Cool. So I'm guessing that was not the first time somebody asked about the short stubby chisels.
Yeah, but this is a really cool thing. Then you can do them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Of course, with your tool, when you reach like this is quite at the end here, you see there's not very half a millimeter more or less space. Then you have to go freehand, make a little bit
and
rounded space again. Yeah.
Yep.
But I do this flat by hand in the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Could be even, I've not tried it with that version, what we had. Could work also.
Oh,
the convex shape.
Or the convex shape. Yeah, I guess. If you just.
That's very flat, and that because it's a not very distinct. The convex shape is a very.
It is very, very shallow. Yep. That's cool. Learn something new. Okay. Whoa, I just saw the time. We could talk tools and sharpening all day and all night, but I guess
when you take more time, it doesn't matter for me. So
Nicholas was asking this that should only be done on the diamond wheel to work on the side.
That makes a lot of things easier.
Yeah. Wolfgang was saying before that even the regular wheel on the side, it'll be new and it'll be flat, but then once you start using it, there's no way to really make it flat and true again, while the diamond wheel will stay flat and 90 degrees to the surface. So it's the ideal tool for using the side more so than the regular SG stones. Definitely not the Japanese ones, because they'd wear out. You're welcome.
There are some other tools which are important or interesting for you. Yeah, the Japanese or just normal chisels. It's exactly the same.
Uh-huh.
Just bigger.
Just fatter. Yeah.
Yeah. We have by time also quite close. Yeah. Yeah. Same like the chisel or just normal planer blade.
And what about? Well, I know you have like 1,000,001 attachment. Another thing that could be probably interesting is like the drill sharpening.
Yeah.
It's also something that might be of use in the shops. And then I don't know about, axe grinding, if any of you like, have like froze or split wood with axes and stuff, but it works with the same principle. It's just different ways of holding
Yeah.
the tool to the wheel.
Our new, all is new, we have to start since our 1.5 year. The actually before we had just like it was like a hook.
It's like a hook, right?
Yeah. But this one is amazing. It looks so little, but if you know Grensfors, the Swedish axes, they have a splitting axe, the big one,
Mhm.
a splitting hammer, they call it, about very thick head. It fits here in 2, about 50 millimeters, is no issue. If you have another bigger one, just go in your hardware store and buy an M6 screw. which
Like
is longer
a
than
longer
that.
screw. Uh-huh.
Just exchange this screw. That's fine. It works in 2 ways. If you want a splitting axe, you want a concave
Yep.
bevel. If you want to use it to chip nicely and cut nicely, especially for spoon carvers,
Yeah.
they won't split all the way through. They want just nice a cut and don't split the wood. They make a bevel on it.
Mhm.
I can get the axe. We have a few over there. I can show you the principle. It's very simple. Just go in here, take it off. Place on the floor is good. Just open here again the other direction and just get open an X over here.
So if anybody has an axe to grind.
So different shapes, doesn't. So you just clamp that you get all surfaces together here. You see you have a little bit a gap here, so you have to get a little bit closer.
Uh-huh.
You have to hold it here and then just to play with the 2 screws to get them nicely parallel. And the good thing is, just to take it off again, it's a little bit flexible and in all ways, because sometimes they are handmade.
Yeah, they're not
completely
parallel.
symmetrical.
Yeah.
So you can really play. And the tricky thing is with that, because you have these 2 screws, you have to think exactly in the opposite. Always. The beginning is you have to screw that way. No, while it's open and then releases again from it. So you have to this open, this closing. There's a little bit more opening, otherwise you can't touch all the rubber feet which are on the inside, holding everything together. So, and then you want to place it when you have a shape, it's quite straight. It's not a big issue, but if you have this axe, take it out here, which is quite rounded, I will clamp it more or less like in the radius here in the middle.
Like with the knife, where you're like splitting the difference of the curve.
That nice shape. When you're too straight here, then around the turning point is more or less like this.
Yep.
You see it here, it doesn't fit better. It's better in the middle. And then you get
When I center the pivot.
and you get exactly the same bevel all the way, because if you're longer away, it's getting flatter. So that's to think about. The placement is quite straight, a little bit curved, no big issue, just a little bit more. So then the back screw just lifting up, it clamps a little bit together. That's it. I go to the other camera, then you have from the side a better view, like this.
Mhm.
No. And then you have two knobs here on the jig. This one and this one.
Yep.
If you have a shorter one, you can use that. If you have a longer one or bigger one, you can use that. If the height of the machine doesn't fit exactly.
Doesn't reach. Yep.
Exactly. And then you just, easiest is to use the edge marker method. Just blacken with the pen the bevel, place it, scratch a little bit. You see where your scratch marks are, and then you just correct through the height. And then you just hold it like this. Can you do from behind, or you stand in front of the machine, hold the hand here and just follow. And I go a little bit over to use the stone even. Some are more bent here and then more straight here. Then it's easy just to make the rounding and then just follow the shape.
Yeah.
And then turn around and do the same. Then you have a straight, flat bevel, or a little bit hollow one, because it's not huge, the hollow shape, because it's not so wide.
Yeah.
If you want to have a convex bevel for more splitting eggs, or you want the splitting effect, some have also a flat on the inside because they follow with the bevel, the cut, and this side they want to split off to make sometimes flat, on the other side convex. So you can do everything what you want now. In that case, if you want a convex shape, you use in between here the space. I place it first here, the other not below.
Yeah.
I go on the inside here to determine my edge, also the cutting edge, the bevel or the angle, and then adjust to the height. And then I sharpen it, and then when I go down, do you see this in the film? When I move forward,
You're sliding.
You're sliding it forward, it's getting flatter, and when it makes in the end that movement, then you just in between.
Okay, so you establish the cutting edge normally, but on the other side, and then you just slide it up and down to do the convex trail of the edge.
First the edge on the inside below, and then up, and then just go up and down, and then you get this nice convex bevel. Exactly. Also with our new knife jig, it's exactly the same. We have these little knobs here. So you place it in between here on the bottom, normally on top here.
Yeah.
But in that place, you place the universal support here. The bottom, you make first the edge, and then everything behind the edge.
You round it off like that.
Round it off, and this is exactly the same thing here. Up and down. Especially some outdoor knives, especially Swedish Flattening, they are heavy duty, they're quite maybe 5-6 millimeters thick, really heavy, big, and they are convex shaped. Yeah,
it keeps like the cutting edge a little bit tougher. You have more metal.
You have more material behind.
Yeah.
They are not so cutting friendly, of course.
Yeah.
Because they have to push material on the side, but they have a good splitting, or the edge lasts longer.
They're like leveraging, if you're like wedging stuff. Yeah.
Yep. They are quite heavy duty tools, which are convex shaped.
Cool. So many things. Do you know off the top of your head how many attachments you guys have in total?
Oh,
that would be an interesting.
It's around the 20 or so, 19, 20, I think, around that we have. Because we have, and some are multi-purpose, like the multi-jig. The multi-jig you can change, or this is for different tools too, but we have, like, we can, it's very quick. One for the
Because
distance.
then you have, you have all the attachments, then you have all the stones.
7, 8, 9, 10. It's only 10 drill bit, planer blades, molding 13. 13. Therefore, the 13, and then the rest is more or less different, like maintenance, like the TT50 for the stone, these tools and stuff.
So if you guys get a machine, then you have the next 20 years, you have your Christmas presents already planned out. You can just, get them all.
We can fulfill the most things, the demand, step by step.
Little by little.
Yeah.
Okay.
The drill bit. Shall we talk about that too, or it's a little bit more complex, or we can make another session?
We can do that another time. I think we did like 2 hours, and I don't want to take up. And so
time flies.
Time flies when you're sharpening. We can keep that for another. If you like to be back, we'd love to have you back and like see the sharpening for drills and stuff like that. I know it's a bit of a complex setup, so we can keep that for another moment.
Yeah, I won't just say complex, but it's completely easy. It sounds more complex and more difficult as at the end it is.
Yeah,
and it's really fun. And I had a few friends who bought it, and I say it's one of the best things we have done.
Cool. Well, then definitely we'll have another moment for that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Let me just remove the spotlight so we can see everybody. Well, that was absolutely awesome. And so if you guys, if everybody can unmute and thank Wolfgang for his precious time and showing us how to spend even more money on tools.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Wolfgang.
Thank you very much. That was great.
Thank you.
And if you have a special question, just drop a line on wolfgang@tormek.se for Sweden. And I'll try to answer your special and difficult questions and find a solution.
Or, just email me and we can reach. Or maybe, if we have we'll try and schedule the next episode with the drilling and maybe put out like a little form. So if anybody has questions for them, we can like pre-fill them and come prepared with extra requests for next time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Great.
Well, that was awesome. I'm sorry you won't be able to make it. And Bolzano is not too far, but it's far enough not to be like right around the corner. But who knows? Maybe I'll come and visit you guys in Sweden one day. You never know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe we can do the next session before we close down the exhibition in the end of September.
We could manage that so we can see the exhibition
museum
as well.
And exhibition. Yeah, we can go through about a little bit more the history and the different machines. If someone is interested, even how to upgrade. If you have an older machine, it's also possible to upgrade machines. Then you have, as long as the motor runs.
Yeah,
you don't need a new machine. You can upgrade one.
That's cool. All right. Great.
Good.
Well, thank you so much, and we'll keep in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
Maximilian. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.